2014. The German national team are gearing up to head into the World Cup in Brazil. And I'd say the preparations went pretty well, because
It's Mario Götze! He might just have won the World Cup!
the fourth world title in the history of this great nation secured. This German side was stacked. But what if I were to tell you that Germany won this World Cup while being handicapped? That they were missing not only one of their most informed players from the qualifiers, but the Bundesliga player of the season from the most recent campaign. Marco Reus hasn't had the best time over the past decade and a bit. Injuries and bad luck have sadly robbed him of what many believe could have been an iconic career. Don't get me wrong, he's achieved his fair share since, and his fierce loyalty in the height of temptation is commendable. But that doesn't make the question of the day any less valid. What if? Today, we look at the ups and the more frequently downs of the career of Rolls-Royce. So, with that being said, what's been happening to Marco Reus? Yo, what's going on everyone? I'm Tinashe, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all strapped in because we've got an interesting story to look into today. But first, a quick word from Atlas VPN, the sponsor of today's video. If you use the internet, which at this point, I'm just gonna assume you do because, well, you know, you're gonna wanna listen in on this one. Atlas VPN is an easy-to-use application that can be installed on your smartphone, computer, or tablet that encrypts your network data and sends it through a secure VPN tunnel. The result is a much-needed layer of protection against anyone trying to collect your data. Probably my favorite part about using Atlas VPN is that it allows you to access region block content. And that's a pretty good thing for me, because at the risk of outing myself, I'm a pretty big anime fan. For example, the full catalog of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I highly recommend by the way, isn't available on Netflix in the country I'm in, but it is available in the US. One click to connect to one of Atlas VPN's US servers, and boom. But that's not all. Atlas VPN is also an ad and malware blocker, operates at lightning speeds, and can be placed on an unlimited number of devices. And by clicking on the link in the description below, you can get a massive discount on their 3-year deal for only $1.99 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So go ahead, click the link in the description below and make sure you're staying safe online. Once again, thanks so much to Atlas VPN for making this video possible. Let's get back to the main man, Reus. Like almost every talented, non-boisterous footballer, Marco Reus has been a fan favorite pretty much ever since he stepped foot in the scene. But there is just something about this guy that sets him apart in the eyes of the public. An easy explanation for this is that the idea of someone clearly capable not being able to fulfill their potential is a universally recognizable concept, especially when it's not even their fault. Then again, maybe it's something else. Being voted onto the cover of FIFA 17 ahead of the likes of Eden Hazard and Anthony Martial when those two were both extremely popular is just one example of how the public feels about this guy. Admittedly, it's an example that doesn't mean a heck of a lot because not everyone plays FIFA, but I'm sure you get what I mean. He's had a few blunders, sure. There was the time he got fined for driving without a license. No, he was driving with a license. Only problem was that it was a Dutch license, and it was fake. So basically, the guy had been driving for years, had appeared in car commercials, but didn't even have a license. You're a wild boy, Marco. I'll give you that. You sure make headlines like this sound funny in hindsight. Born in Dortmund in 1989 and starting off local, he ended up moving around a bit, but his mind and heart has very much remained in his hometown throughout his career. He was a skinny kid growing up, but his touch, speed, agility, work ethic, and overall technique was developing at an accelerated rate pretty early on. As an attacker, he was effective almost everywhere, but over the years, he's had most of his success on the left flank or in the center behind the striker. Ironically, the man once said that he modeled his playing style after former Dortmund midfielder Thomas Rosicky, which is great because Rosicky was class, but is also pretty upsetting in hindsight because this man's body was also made of glass. More on that in a bit. Marco Reus found himself in Borussia Dortmund's youth academy at the age of about 7, but despite his obvious ability, just before his 17th birthday, he was faced with a less than ideal dilemma. His small frame was deemed to not be ideal for the level of football Dortmund wanted to play. It was very painful for me to leave. When you spend your whole youth career at one club, you want to make the next step, especially when you support that team. So what do you do when your dream club doesn't want you? Well, you go off to a lower league team, dominate the competition, then go to a Bundesliga team, dominate the competition there, and make it so your dream team doesn't have any other choice but to bring you back. It's pretty easy. Thanks for attending my TED Talk. Between 2006 and 2012, Marco Reus geared up for Rot-Weiß Island in the third tier of German football, then Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Bundesliga. But it was at Gladbach that his career really took off. The 2011-12 season was particularly fruitful, yielding 18 goals and 9 assists in 32 appearances, the Bundesliga Breakthrough of the Year award, the German Footballer of the Year, and the Bundesliga Player of the Season award. It was a good year. Over at Dortmund, under Jurgen Klopp, the boys had just won their second Bundesliga title in as many years and were understandably in the hunt for number 3. 17 million euros later, and Reus was back. Unfortunately, from a league perspective, Bayern walked it, of course. But from a personal perspective, Reus continued to excel. More goals, more stellar performances, and the link-up with Robert Lewandowski was a thing of beauty. But more notably, the link-up with Mario Götze was what caught the attention of the eye of the general media. Two of the best young midfielders in the world linking up to deadly effect on the pitch, and apparently the best of mates off of it. 3 years apart, so despite the fact that their time in Dortmund Youth Academy coincided, their bond actually only blossomed upon Reus's return to Dortmund. So the friendship aspect here may seem like a minor detail in this story, but it'll come into prevalence a bit later on in the story. 2012-13 and 2013-14 were business as usual for the man, with the 13-14 season being his best year up to that point. A combined 45 goal contributions in 44 appearances in all competitions, and another Bundesliga Player of the Year award. Things were going pretty well, but this is where the story starts to take a turn. Rewinding the clock back to 2010, when he was still 21 at Gladbach, Joachim Löw recognized his talent and called him up for a friendly vs Malta. However, Reus never actually ended up playing that match. The reason why? Injuries. The story of Reus. Jumping forward to 2014, with the form he was in, Marco Reus was obviously selected as part of Die Mannschafts traveling squad to Brazil. In a team filled to the brim with players that were and would soon become legends, Marco Reus was one of the standouts. The anticipation around this man going into the World Cup was very real. But as if fate were playing a cruel trick, disaster struck mere days before the actual tournament. And the reason I say it must have felt like a cruel trick is because it was in a warm-up match against a team that hadn't even qualified for that year's competition. The incident itself didn't have any overt malice in it, and the challenge wasn't even called as a foul. Play went on until it was well established that the guy was truly man down. And in a bittersweet turn of events, Germany ended up winning the whole thing. And in an even more bittersweet turn of events, Reus's best mate, Mario Götze, scored the winner in the final. Götze dedicated the goal and the win to his mate, which I'm sure was well appreciated and showed he was a top lad. But I wouldn't be surprised if this did little to console the man who was left out. As I said, injuries had already been part of Reus's playing career going into this World Cup. But as the years went by, the problem just seemed to keep compounding. Torn ankle ligaments, ankle fractures, pulled hamstrings, knee contusions, abductor problems, and muscular problems. These aren't niggling injuries in isolated areas of the body. This is a systematic problem. If you take a look at his list of recorded injuries on transfermarkt.com, you'll notice that this list is 5 pages long. And before you ask, yes, at the time of making this video, he is injured. Reus also went on to miss the 2016 Euros. The reason why? Take a guess. He has massive injury problems, and the medical staff was very skeptical about his ability to last through the coming weeks and such a grueling tournament. It is a bitter decision, and bitter for Marco. That was Joachim Löw. The guy really couldn't seem to catch a break, could he? And when he was fit to lace up for a World Cup, believe it or not, Marco Reus only won his first ever piece of major silverware in 2016, the DFB Pokal. Fantastic win. He was injured in the final. And even though he won the trophy again in 2021, and both of those victories are stellar, you just can't help the feeling that with all he's capable of, he should have more by now. A notion made even more meaningful when you learn that before choosing to return to Dortmund in 2012, Bayern Munich threw their hat in the race for his signature. And in typical Bayern fashion, 2012 wouldn't be the last time that Bayern were interested in the man. this persisted for quite some time. Not only did Bayern beat him and Dortmund in the 2013 UCL final, winning the treble in the process, but they've won the Bundesliga every year since he went back to Dortmund, coupled with a second treble in 2020. With all that being said, did Marco Reus miss out and make the wrong decision? It's an easy conclusion to come to, but personally, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think he did. And neither does he. Getting to rep your local team, surrounded by friends and family, while being paid millions and being made the captain is a pretty sweet deal. In recent years, he's come into some consistency, registering more sustained runs without absences, and he's even continued to put up impressive numbers despite getting up there in age. For example, 9 goals and 12 assists in 29 games in the most recent 2021-22 campaign is a pretty good return if you ask me. And something he should really be commended for is coming back strong after so many setbacks. As non-professional athletes, I think we all tend to overlook the mental aspect of overcoming an injury. There are very many people who would probably pack it all in after going through just some of the more serious injuries he's gone through. In fact, there are very many athletes that have done just that. Marco Reus has had a good career and it's still ongoing, let the record show that. But through no fault of his own, the illustrious career that he could have had and that I believe he should have had was ripped from his grasp. It's unfortunate, but who knows? Perhaps he might be on the plane to Qatar for the ultimate redemption tour. Time will tell. And there we have it, the tale of Marco Reus. Ultimately, a tale of what if. Let me know what you think of Reus and his career in the comments below. And if you want, you can always follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but no pressure. That's all for me today. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're all staying safe. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.